Creator God, as we always do, we just pause to recognize you. Thank you for the blessings that you give us as a council. Here as a tribe, we just continue our prayers for all those who recently have lost loved ones, especially the Tanner family, for the loss of our chief judge. And we continue to pray that you be with all those that are, even though it seems like the pandemic is slowed or um, is getting maybe hopefully to an end, or at least to a manageable way that we can deal with it. We just ask that you be with all those families who are suffered from the pandemic, and we, as always, we pray for our staff, our employees, all those who have who so graciously worked through all the pitfalls of the pandemic, and we're so grateful that they stepped up and continue to do their work. And always we pray for our elders and our youngsters that are coming up, and we just continue to pray that you bless those out there that are fighting fire, that are putting their lives on the line to protect the forests. And Creator, we just ask this in all your name. Amen.
Lunch, Fred. We have two sets of minutes, one from June 29th. Abby on page 5. Where I was talking about voting rights, if you can just say Shelley was involved in the listening session on protecting voting access for Native Americans and is active in the Montana Redistricting Commission meetings. Also, in a few sentences down, we're talking about the boarding school initiative. It should be ground truthing.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Bing.
Yeah, on page 7, can we take out that last statement there? Where I said where I commented about the AC, and that following sentence there's always a AC issues on the 3rd floor, but next line down, we take that out? There was always a problem with the AC up there.
I'll make a motion to approve the June 29 minutes with corrections.
Okay, motion by Len. Second by Ellie. Any other changes? All those in favor? Motion carries unanimous. Okay, next we have the quarterly minutes from July 2nd. Abby, on page 8 at the bottom of my statement, principles should be PLES.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Bing.
Yeah, on page 4, my statement down there about the river honoring, can we put river honoring area on there instead of at the river honoring?
Charmel?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Abby, on page 7, the first two sentences, I have a rewrite just to report it a little bit differently or more clearly, I think. Can you replace it with Charmel has heard it compared to a point in our history when we had an executive secretary position? And then the next sentence, rather than reinstate that system, the council considered a realignment of departments and service types. Thank you.
Madam Chair, motion to approve the minutes of July 2nd.
Okay, motion by Ellie, second by Mike. Any other changes? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Anita abstains? Motion carries. Okay, so we have one walk-in this morning. Bob McCray is going to give us a fire report. Are there any other additions?
Madam Chair, I would just like to add one thing in open session. Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Anita.
I'd make the motion to approve the agenda with additions.
Okay,
Madam
motion by
Chair,
Anita.
I have two issues also, and I'll second that.
Okay, second by Len. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimous. Okay, we're ready for you, Bob. Good morning.
So I hope you're enjoying this hot weather because that's what it's going to be for a while. Yeah, there's no cooling down or anything in the future. It looks like we're clear through July and more likely through August is hot and dry. That's what they're saying. So that's kind of where we're at for the coming future of fire. We had 8 fires yesterday. We manned 6 of the 8. The other 2 are up high. One's top of Gray Wolf, and that's not going to go anywhere. Very low priority fire. We'll look at it when we get the helicopters coming back today from Warm Springs, Oregon. So we'll have that shipped back to use. Out of the 6 fires that we did man, we have 5 of them that are, in containment status. Got lines around them. They look good. Little Money. Everybody knows where Little Money, southwest corner of the res. Excuse me. It's probably just a little over 100 acres, somewhere in there. Probably going to get a little bigger. Because of safety issues, we're probably going to come out to some ridges, put some line down, cat lines down, and burn off of it. Yeah, so it could get a lot larger than what it is. Because we just can't put people in where it's at right now because of the cliffs, the rocks, and we'll get somebody hurt, and we don't want to do that. So it's cleaning up some country for a little money anyway. So I think it's something we'll be dealing with for quite some time. We put a mini Type 3 team together to manage this, and it's all our folks that are going to be on that. We ordered some equipment for it, dozers and some dozers and tenders and a couple of Type 6 engines probably. we're looking at putting in for long-term severity and then bringing some other folks in, like the Oklahoma people that we bring up every year, see if we can get some of those. This year nationally, there is a lack of resources nationally. This region is already shut down. There's no cruise is going to leave the region. And that's the first and the earliest that's ever been. Nationally, we're in planning level 4. I think, I mean, last time I seen was 4, maybe we're 5 now, which is the highest planning level. And that's the earliest it's ever been that way. But it's very dry. But there's just enough green out there, unless you have wind, the fire, you know, we can catch it without. But if we have wind, that's going to give us some problems. But come August, that's probably going to change. As all y'all aware, that's really starting to brown up out there on the hillsides. Your north slopes are still pretty green yet, so chase them to the north slope and catch them, you know, so to speak. But we're getting into a situation, we're in very high fire danger here on the reservation right now. But we're getting to a point where we're going to have more difficulty controlling these fires and catching them. So that's pretty much everything.
Go ahead, Lynn.
Bob, one of the issues that we had problems with last year was getting our contractors paid in a timely manner. Do we know, has anything changed since then, or do we got a new process in place to assure that our contractors are do not have to wait for months to get paid, or is there a solution out there that?
That issue isn't on our side. We got everything in time and ahead of time. It's a BIA contracting issue with them, with that. Once those things leave our hands and it's sent to the BIA, it's out of our hands.
Okay.
So there's really nothing that we can do as an agency. We can talk and we can try and convince them, but when you got so many contractors out there that, you know, they're sending payments into the BIA, it's wrong. It seems like they should get paid quicker than they do, but it just, I don't know, it's their problem. And also talking about contractors, a lot of our contractors are gone right now. You know, they went to California, Colorado, or wherever. So that's going to be another lack of resources that I have to pull in to assist us here. So along with that shortage, since we're talking about contractors, but just to let you know, a lot of them are gone already, which, hey, I don't blame them. They got all that equipment, they got to pay for it, but might give us some problems later. But on that other issue, boy, I know Ron has been talking with the BIA, and so has a lot of people been talking to him, but, you know, government is what a government is, and when they say they go slow, yes, a snail goes faster, yes. But we've trying, I know Ron has been really trying and pushing it, but there's only so much he can do, or the agency can do, you know, here at the local level. So.
Thank you, Lynn. Any other questions for Bob? So you said we're at very high fire danger right now, but we're not yet into stage 1?
They haven't talked about anything yet. I'm sure that's going to come up next week. I'd bet money on that, talking about the different stages next week.
Okay, looks like Martin has a question.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I think that kind of your question answer or was asking mine. I was wondering about like shutting down, you know, the woods like we usually do, but I'm assuming that's at a much higher level. I just want to be proactive and make sure that we have people available, or at least the heads up on those.
Yes, they're having a meeting once a week now, and CT Camel goes their prevention person for us. It attends those meetings, and they talk about, you know, if we're very high, which we are this day. They changed the level to very high. We're probably going to be pushing extreme, within the next week or so, even next week. But they have a meeting every week talking about, are we going into the difference, any stage 1 or 2 or whatever. I'm sure they'll be talking about that next week.
So our heat wave is going to last all summer?
I believe so. The way it's looking, if you want to believe the weather people, well, kind of looking that way right now. There's nothing out there. I mean, it's bad everywhere. The Lolo, we got 8 fires yesterday. The Lolo got 31 fires. The Nez Perce got over 100 fires yesterday. They're putting a type 1 team out on the Lolo today to manage multiple fires. They're doing the same thing on the Nez Perce. They put 2 more teams out today to help manage multiple fires on the Nez Perce. Plus they got a type 1. If everybody knows where Dixie, Idaho is, they're trying to save Dixie. I think they did again for the umpteenth time. It seems like Dixie always tries burning up, but they saved her again. But on a national level, it's not good. The whole West is in a drought, and the resources aren't there. And they're already talking about the military, getting the military trained up and bringing them in. I ain't saying it's gloom and doom, but damn close to her on the national level.
Okay, any other questions for Bob? Go ahead,
Just
Len.
one other question. When do we anticipate our next lightning storm?
There's some clouds coming in Friday with a possible of showers, and they didn't say along the Continental Divide, but we get some clouds coming in. I'm sure there's a possibility of lightning coming in with that too. And that's Friday. And then that's going to be the coolest day. And then this weekend, 90 to 100, 90 to 100, 90 to 100.
Charmel?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And Bob, I know you've been doing this for a good portion of your career, planning for the worst possible circumstance in a fire season. And when you say that, we may see pulling resources such as military, I'm curious if we as a tribe, you as our tribal resource manager, would we be potentially looking at drafting our own local resources in a different way? I mean, what is the worst? I mean, like, I don't know if you've seen or if you've planned for what you might be looking at in the next coming months. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. We'd have to, and it would be very difficult to say we're going to go out and train a bunch of people because we just don't have the people to do that because we're so involved in fire right now. We'd probably have to bring people in, and that's what we're going to look at. And that is our plan, is to bring some folks in to assist us down the road, because right now we have a small type 3 organization going. And I stood there last night and I looked at the guys and said, what do you see? And they were kind of wondering what I was talking about. I said, what you see in this group right here of, let's say, 6 to 8 people for an overhead staffing, that's all we have. This 6 or 8 people in the overhead staffing of the agency is all we have. So we can manage this one fire. We have another fire, we're in trouble. Or another one, we could be in real big trouble. I mean, if they're growing on us and getting bigger. So we're going to have to look at bringing people in as quickly as we can. But then you start looking at the national level. They had a incident here last week where they're looking for just a firefighter 1, just a plain old everyday firefighter. And it came out of California. It was UTF, couldn't fill it. They went to several of the GACs, Great Basin and other places, UTF. They couldn't even get a firefighter. to fill that. Ended up going to Oklahoma and the BIA filled it for them, but that's what's happening out there. They're not there. And if you started reading some of the papers, you see the hotshot crews, a lot of them, they can't fill positions within the hotshot organization for those crews, the management positions, so they can stay at that level. Some of them dropped from that category 1 down to a category 2 type IE crew. Nobody wants to work because they don't get paid for what they do. And they'll go find a different job someplace that might pay less or maybe pays more, but they're home every night. They don't have the stress that's out there, dealing with fire and dealing with people and worrying about people and making sure they get home safely. So there's a lot of that going on nationally, and a lot of people say they don't know what to do, and they're losing a lot of experience out there, a lot of experience. And we're coming in with this younger folks that just don't have the experience, and that's scary. That's scary. I mean, I ain't taking nothing away from those people that are coming here, want to do their job because they're doing the best they can and as safe as they can, but there's a lack of experience there too.
Well, we'll just keep in close contact with you and wait for the, I guess, decision to go to stage 1 or 2 or shut the woods down. So we're poised and ready.
Okay, and we'll probably do this every week, if that's what you folks want us to come in and talk, like this every week, we'll do it. If that's what you want us to do.
Sounds good, Bob. Stay safe out there.
Okay, take care. Have a nice day.
Okay, it doesn't look like our first presenter's here, so Charmel, did you want to bring up your issue?
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you. I wanted to request some assistance, whether Rick can contact our tribal legal department, and this is with regard to kind of a follow-up on what our tribal elder Iris Kai came in on last week. She made a report about the dogs in the neighborhood that were threatening, and since then she has been attacked 2 different times. And she's made reports with law enforcement, with I believe the tribal officers have taken reports, and I believe the city of Polson officers were contacted. But it's dogs at large, one primarily at large, and I think that we're all concerned for her safety and other people's safety. There are children in the neighborhood. So I don't know where we're at with some type of an enforcement, or something needs to be done to make that a safe place. She's just outside of her house cleaning her car and getting attacked. So that's what I wanted to bring up. Thank you.
Thank you, Charmel.
Yeah, I can, legal's going to be in this afternoon, and I can ask Rhonda to share if there are any options that we could assist Iris with. And I'll also have Mark, I know last meeting he was going to, I think, walk over to the BIA office and speak with the superintendent. And so I'll get a status update from him on that as well.
Thank you, Rick. Lynn, did you want to bring up your issues?
I sure do, and I will need to do it in executive.
We'll go out of regular into executive.